Hello, I'm Vanessa Grant. Let's talk about how you can help adults who struggle to learn to read. Welcome to Determining Learner Profiles to Inform Instruction. Be sure to print out your handout. Reading comprehension is like a mathematical formula. Decoding times language comprehension equals reading comprehension. Decoding is reading the words on a page quickly and accurately. Language comprehension is attaching meaning to the words. If a reader has difficulty with one or both of these components, he or she won't develop the comprehension skills necessary for academic success, economic opportunities, or quality of life. There are 4 learner profiles. The first learner is someone who can read and comprehend the written word. The second is a learner who has adequate language comprehension but struggles to decode words. The third is a learner who can read any word on any page but struggles to understand what he or she is reading. And the fourth is someone who doesn't have adequate decoding or language comprehension skills. A learner who has adequate decoding and language comprehension skills will score at or above the 40th percentile on a subtest of reading comprehension on a standardized measure of reading. Let's take a look at the data from 4 adult learners, beginning with the first profile. Brandon is struggling to keep up with his classes at a local community college. His reading comprehension is at the 40th percentile. Word recognition and word attack are measures of decoding. Listening comprehension and vocabulary are measures of language comprehension. You can see that Brandon scored at or above the 40th percentile on all subtests. Even though his profile falls in quadrant 1, he may benefit from more instruction. Hilda falls in quadrant 2. Hilda reads slowly and laboriously. She struggled in school but never received any special education services. Her primary instructional need is decoding. Notice the difference between Hilda's lower reading comprehension and much higher listening comprehension score. This is a telltale sign of inadequate decoding, but adequate language comprehension and possibly dyslexia. Stefano's profile falls in quadrant 3. Stefano taught himself to speak English by watching English TV and movies with subtitles. He can read any word on any page, but struggles to understand what he's reading. His primary instructional need is language comprehension. The fourth profile is of Frank. Frank was in special education classes for most of his schooling. He dropped out of school at age 16. Frank's profile falls in quadrant 4 because his decoding and language comprehension scores are inadequate. His primary instructional needs are decoding and language comprehension. He will always struggle with reading, but this instruction may improve his job opportunities and quality of life. If you don't have access to standardized scores, you can use the Learner Profile Checklist, which is in your handout. If all or most of the boxes in the first column, but none in the second column are checked, a learner may have inadequate decoding skills, but adequate language comprehension. If all or most of the boxes in the second column, but none in the first column are checked, a learner may have inadequate language comprehension skills. If you can check off all or most of the boxes in the first column and all or most of the boxes in the second column, a learner most likely has inadequate decoding and language comprehension skills. So, how do you teach the Hilda, Stefano, and Franks of the world? Let's break it down. Learners like Hilda and Frank in quadrants 2 and 4 need decoding instruction. They need to practice reading word lists, sentences, and texts to build words and word patterns in memory.
Unicorn, U.
Learners in quadrant 3, like Stefano and Frank, are focusing on language comprehension.
Remember, you want to find the main idea
Engaging
first.
these learners in discussions, conversations, and wide reading increases their vocabulary and world knowledge. Finally, a learner like Brandon from Quadrant 1, who has scores right on the line, would benefit from accelerated decoding instruction and language comprehension instruction. Now, let's look at other language comprehension instructional activities. Working with the multiple meanings of words aids comprehension. Think about the word run. It has many meanings. Talk about the different meanings. Present a sentence and discuss the meaning of the word in the sentence. What does run mean in this sentence? Understanding text structure is also very important. Narrative or literary text tells a story. Take the story of the Three Little Pigs. There are characters, a setting, a problem, and a solution. There is also a plot that has a beginning, middle, and end. And there is an overarching theme or big idea. On the other hand, expository or informational text gives information. There is a subject that tells what the passage is mostly about, a main idea that is the subject plus what the passage says about the subject, supporting ideas, and details. Finally, inferences are important to teach. An inference is an understanding that is implied by a text and requires students to integrate information in the text. Present a short passage. Learners determine inferences that can be made. For example, in this passage, these inferences could be made. It is morning, it is winter, Maggie overslept, Maggie often oversleeps, and Maggie is on her way to school. Inferences can be taught at a sentence level. You might ask, who is Teddy? Learners could infer that because Teddy barks and dogs bark, Teddy must be a dog. Or you might also ask, why is Teddy barking at the door? Learners could infer that Teddy barks to go outside or come inside, or maybe someone has come to the door. Learner profiles help you identify a learner's strengths and target specific instructional needs. When a learner can effortlessly decode words and quickly attach meaning, the learner can gain information from or be entertained by the words on a page. That's reading comprehension, the ultimate goal of reading.